Welcome back everybody, Automotive Inc. Today we're doing a video that was requested on building an HD truck from Chevy, Ford, and Ram. Now if you're a GMC person over a Chevy, the GMC is usually slightly higher at the base trims and across the board, but the build process be the same. And so here we go. Before we get started, if you don't mind smashing the subscribe button, it does help a small channel out. And at the end, a thumbs up and notification bell so you know I'm posting new content. Now you can go over to the channel, go to the search bar and type over where your heart's desire, and more than likely I already have a video on it. You can also comment below at the end of the video and let me know what videos you'd like to see. I make videos that hit many people, and I make videos that people just request. If it only helps one person, then the video was a success in my view. So we're going to talk today about a big truck from the big three. Now, across the board, they all have a very similar starting point and price point. If we go over to Ram, you can see right here, starting MSRP is $45,565. Ford HD is $45,300. And Chevy is $45,300. Now they put that little asterisk there basically so you guys know that that is your base starting trim level. Now, for a lot of reasons, you got to understand that that asterisk is on everybody's base MSRP, meaning there's going to be a destination charge on all of them. That's the shipping and pricing and delivery. So don't worry about that. It does suck, but it's there. And these are your base prices, meaning they are the base trim, whether they call it a work truck, an XL, a tradesman, or whatever. This is your basic bean can truck that you can buy. And it's typically a regular cab, standard box, two-wheel drive. All of the other options are going to go up from there. Now, I will tell you this, and my people that are a little bit older like me, the watchers, you know that back in the day, a work truck consisted of a heater and windshield wipers. Everything else was manual, steel wheels, and everything like that. Now, fast forward 30 years, and a work truck would be considered an up-trim truck way back then with power windows, AC standard. Cameras, backup cameras are standard since 2011 or 13. So really there is no base truck, and they pretty much went away from vinyl, although some of the manufacturers do offer you a vinyl option in the base trims, so you can decide if that's an important feature to you. Vinyl lasts a very long time as long as you care for it, and cloth is a little bit more comfortable and not as hot in the summer, but there is no such thing really as a base truck anymore. And with a lot of them moving up in the things, their base truck can be trimmed out to make it a very, very nice truck. But for me, a work truck would be fine because I've had plenty of tradesmen. That is the Ram base model. I've had XLs at work when it comes to Ford. I've never bought an XL Ford, but you can trim out an XL Ford with an STX package, which is very, very nice. But you do have to watch across the board when it comes to these trims as to some important features that may not be available on it. And then we're going to talk about which one gives you the most bang for your buck. Now, Chevy does have a custom trim and a work truck trim. And of course, GMC has the GMC Pro and the GMC base truck. So really, again, base truck, if you don't really need all the frills, there is no such thing as base truck anymore. Now for me, I will tell you this is going to apply to 2025 trucks that you can order. Now, for the next part of the channel, I did think about potentially moving to one of the new diesels to see if we could put that up against those other ones. Obviously, gas and diesel are two different things. So when you do start to build your truck or are out there looking for a truck, you want to see which truck one is the most appealing to look at. I think between the three, or I guess if you want to include GMC, the four trucks, you can definitely find one that you like the looks of, and most likely those. Now, you're going to want to go over and check out my reviews on the 24 GMC, 24 Chevy, the 24 Ford, and the 24 Ram, because there's a lot of different factors that will go into seat comfort, cabins, bed lengths, and everything like that we're not necessarily going to touch on in this video, but those are over on the channel, so feel free to go over there and look at those. So as you go into this, you got to decide you want two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, cab configuration. Some cabs went away in 24 and coming in 25 for sure, like Super Cab if you're interested in just an extended cab type truck. A lot of those are no longer offered. And of course, Ram does not offer an extended cab truck. They only offer Crew and Mega. So those are two different things that you need to think about. Now, again, across the board too, Ram has the most expensive diesel this year. So if you're going diesel, no matter what trim, there is about a $300 difference between the Ford HO and the Ram HO. However, the standard Power Stroke is several $1,000s less, and the Chevy and GMC Duramax is the cheapest diesel option if you are looking for that. Now, when it comes to base engines, Ford did make the 7.3 Godzilla, and this year they made that an upcharge of only $1,000. I'd highly encourage you to do that if you're buying an HD truck over the 6.8, just because you'll always have more than enough that you need. And even with the higher tow ratings, a 6.8 is a good engine, but I think that the $1,000 upcharge is worth it. The Chevy has the 6.6 L8T V8, and of course, Ram brought back the 6.4 again this year. Little to no changes. You do need to keep in mind that Ram does use active fuel management on that engine, and if that is something you don't like, or you've heard about the horror stories, that might be part of the consideration. Now, when we went over to Chevy's website, we basically built up a truck here. Starting MSRP was $55,700. I added a few things that I would like when it comes to appealing looks or interior comforts, like I want bucket seats. And we come over here and we can see that I built the trucks as basically 2500s, and the prices will go up slightly if you go into a 3500 range. But these are options that I would consider must-haves for me. And if they're not must-haves for you, I would say that that's not a big deal. The prices will probably go lower if you don't want some of that stuff. But as you can see right here, the Chevy built up in an LT crew cab 4x4 package with the max tow, which makes it basically a 3500. It does come in cheaper than actually buying out a 3500, but it comes in at $77,730. Now you can see that price did have destination in it, so that is just something to consider. Now again, it's going to be about 10 grand cheaper if you don't go diesel when it comes to the GM trucks. Now, some manufacturers also don't offer as much as the other competitors. So Ford offers a lot of cool tech swag for towing. So when I built this one, I did build it just a little bit different, because the way GM packages theirs versus Ram, there's a lot of different things that you can add to the Ram, like onboard scales for payload and towing, and just the way they kind of a la carte their thing. So I would say that this one specifically, to build it just like the Chevy, is going to be up there a lot more. You can see that the price with destination was $82,665, and that's adding all the things that basically I added on the Chevy, except for some of the tech packages for towing, and of course the power on board, which Chevy does not offer. They offer a 110 outlet in the bed, but the 2 kW is well worth it. Onboard scales, you can see there, a rapid heat. Of course, and buckets. So I really didn't trim it out crazy much more than the Chevy, and it did come in very, very much more than the Chevy did. Now, when we cruise over to the Ram, I also built it with the only option of the diesel, so you can see it is the most expensive option. And they don't really have a lot of things you could change. They only have one standard axle ratio. Ford's got a couple different ones, but the price really doesn't go up changing the axle ratios on Ford that much, just a little bit. You know, so as we cruise through here, we can see that I did add the block heater, which you would think would come standard on a diesel, but it's not. It's an add-on. And just trimming it up, they do offer a 2.4 kW power on board late availability for $25. And so we built that truck out, and we can see that it came in at $77,935. Now, I do have separate videos on how to build your things and the way I would recommend you buying it, whether you're going gas or diesel. Those videos are on the channel also. There's one for Ram, there's one for Chevy, there's one for Ford. So if you want to check those out, you definitely can. But building 3 comparable trucks trimmed out the way I'd like, you can see that Chevy came in the cheapest, Ram was then second cheapest, and the Ford is most expensive. And you might be able to say, well, you could take $1,000 out for the power onboard scales, but really a lot of that comes into the base price of the diesel engines and everything, and how that comes out and what standard comes in those packagings. Now, you're probably thinking, which trim is the best for you? Well, again, if you don't need all the swag, the bang for buck truck in 25 would be to order a Chevy 25 Custom, whether you're going to add gas or diesel, because that truck itself comes with a lot of safety tech. that the others won't come with up until you step up to either to a higher trim or a higher package within that trim, and that can add several thousands of dollars. So the GMC Pro is the similar truck to the Custom, and what that truck gives you is not steel wheels. It gives you a nice wheel, it gives you a lot of safety tech, and it gives you all the pretty much bells and whistles just above a work truck that somebody would need. For me though, I think the bang for buck package from each one is going to be the XLT from Ford. Whether how you up trim that or leave it at the base, it comes with a lot of great safety tech. It comes with everything you pretty much would want in it. It comes with a bigger screen, of course, in those things if it's important to you. And that is one different thing. Ram has a nice looking camera and screen versus the Custom. The Custom from Chevy and the Pro from GMC are the same carryover interiors from 2020. So it is a great trim package, bang for buck. That's probably going to be the winner. Now, not to leave out Ram, the Ram has a great base package in the Bighorn. Now the Bighorn is going to give you everything that you want. And of course you can a la carte things, cab lights and extra trim packages and bigger screens if you really want. But really the Bighorn's going to give you that power driver's seat, which most people will probably need. It's a big truck, and basically everything else that you're really going to want. When it comes to Ford, you're going to get the XLT package, and that XLT package is going to have, again, the power seat at least for the driver, and it's going to do that. Now, if you go up to an LT or an SLE in the GMC or Chevy twins, that's when you're going to get more of that, the newer interior, of course, and everything. But at the end of the day, I would have to say that they're very comparably priced, so I think you can definitely go in and a la carte them. One thing I would encourage you guys to look is if you're in the market for a truck, there are a lot of 24 Rams sitting around that you can get a lot of good deals on. So if you are a Ram fan, in lieu of ordering a 25, which they did upgrade the transmission for the diesel, and then obviously now still only the HO, if you're going gas, I would look in that direction to save yourself some coin. And, you know, when it comes to the Fords pretty much don't discount their trucks a whole lot, but they do have 24s because 25s are now hitting the lots. And, you know, Chevy, there are some 24s out there, but they have a lot more 25s because the way they allocated dealers and stuff, the 24s sold pretty quick, and 25s have already been hitting the ground before both Ford and Ram. So I think you're more than likely going to have to go in that direction versus saving money on a 24. But there are always options if you're willing to look out there. But as I built out those three, Chevy's still going to come in the least expensive by a few $1,000s, depending on how you trim it out. And the way I trimmed it out, which is really kind of my base wants in a truck, it's the Chevy still came in the cheapest. So hopefully that helps any of you that had reached out asking for this video for me to build one from each of the three. And keeping in mind those configurators from all three of those are only configurators. You're still going to have to take your build or send the build into a dealer, and then they're going to be able to tell you what can and can't be available in your build at that time. And most likely they're going to find out there are some parts of these configurators that you can like overstack options. And so usually when they build it, it may be a smidge bit cheaper if it comes out that way, or it may be slightly expensive because they do put an asterisk down there saying that packaging and pricing also can change. So that's just something to consider. So once you do take your build in and give it to them, they'll be able to sit down with you and say, this option is actually in this package and it's cheaper to get this package than it's to do this, this, and this. That's completely something and that the dealer should be doing with you, so that way they can get you the most truck for the bang for your buck. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this video and the information that was in it, and I hope I'll see you on the next one.